and how it's important to stand on the shoulders of those history makers. And we've been joined by a legend, Congresswoman Barbara Lee from California's 12th Congressional District. She is a mentor. She is a woman that we absolutely look up to. She got a torch passed to her by Shirley Chisholm, and I know you passed the torch to Kamala Harris when you stood up and said, I'm going to endorse her first in 2020. So we are thrilled to be joined by you, and we know you are busy, so thank you, Congresswoman.
Here, here.
Thanks so much, Angela. You know, this is, I don't know how
Latifah, sit down.
Go right ahead, Congresswoman.
I've been to every...
Yes, go right ahead, Congresswoman. Please, go right ahead. Yes. Go, Congresswoman, you keep talking, babe. We can only hear you.
No, I've been to every convention except one since 1972.
Wow.
And this is a bookend convention for me. The first convention was when I was a delegate for Shirley Chisholm. Willie Brown then said, give me back my delegation for the McGovern delegates. And now here we have Kamala Harris. And I share that because it's pretty busy for me, you know, the convention, and I'm a convention officer this year.
Yes.
And so I'm just like, having a good time, but working.
We know you squeezed us in. And
glad to see you.
We wanted to ensure what you were joined pretty quickly by candidate Latifah Simon, who is actually the person you're passing the proverbial torch to in your congressional district. So we wanted to ensure you had this moment in the midst of all the fun you're having, but all the work.
Thanks. Let me just say, Latifah, just like Vice President Kamala Harris, she's prepared, she's ready, she's experienced, and she knows exactly what she's doing and how to take the 12th Congressional District to the next level. And so I'm really proud of her.
That's powerful.
She'll tell you, I taught a class at Mills College. She was my smartest student.
That's all right.
So now this baton is in good hands as she runs this next lap of the race.
Congresswoman Lee, did you ever envision a time like this? Did you ever see something like this being possible?
Oh, yes. In 1972, I saw it because I saw how Shirley Chisholm fought.
Yes.
I saw and watched Fannie Lou Hamer from afar. And I saw all of these black women, all of these women of color struggling through all the challenges. And then I saw Vice President Harris in 2019 taking that baton, saying that she was going to run for president. And when she dropped out, I was on a train going from D.C. to New York, and it was money. So we got to get this money out of politics. But I told her then, I said, don't worry, you're going to be president one day.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
And so,
Congresswoman, I'm so happy that you're joining us, because one thing I've always loved and respected about you is you have the unapologetic way of standing and moving in your conviction. I remember being a young journalist, getting my just starting out at CNN, and this was during right after 9/11. And you, of course, were known as the sole member in the House of Representatives to vote against the AUMF, which, to your point, would have given this government free access to engage our military with foreign adversaries. Can you talk a bit about what it means? Because I think we're seeing a very different Kamala Harris on the campaign trail now, and she appears to be moving in her convictions as well. Can you talk a bit about what it meant to be the sole person and stand in your own truth and righteousness to make sure that you were on the right side of history more than almost 25 years later?
That authorization to use military force was a 60-word authorization, overly broad. All it said, in essence, was any president can go to war forever. Now, the Constitution requires Congress to declare war.
Yeah.
But to turn it over to then President Bush and subsequent presidents was wrong, first of all, constitutionally. But if you believe in looking at alternatives to go into war, then you do not just automatically use the trigger, the military option. You always try development, diplomacy, peaceful solutions first. You do not just do that, the military option. My dad was in the military, and let me tell you, out of that, my father was the first one to call me. He retired a lieutenant colonel. He said, you were right, do not give any president the authority to send our young men and women into war and not know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
that's powerful.
You know,
could you...
I faced a lot of death threats, a lot of hassles, and it was hard.
Yeah.
But, you know, the scriptures, Ephesians says, stand, right?
That's right.
We thank you
That's
for
right.
that. We thank you
But
for that.
Congresswoman, if I could ask, because there are a lot of folks who want to follow in your model. Obviously, we've got Latifah who has blazed an amazing trail as an activist, organizer, right where she is. Tell us just very quickly, how do you deepen into that value set? If there was advice that you would give to folks, how do you ground? Where do you ground? When do you know where to make that stand?
You have to know yourself. You have to know what you believe in. And Shirley Chisholm said to me, she said, you know, you've got to shake things up. She said, these rules weren't made for you. They were made for me. You got to get in there, not go along to get along.
Yeah.
You get in there and you disrupt every policy and every system that's oppressive, that's discriminatory, that's racist, that's sexist, that's wrong. And then you build something new.
I love it.
That's what you do.
Yes.
I love it.
Congresswoman,
And that's what Latifah has done.
Yeah.
No, that's what you have done.
we definitely want to get Latifah in, but you had a heart out 2 minutes ago, and we are not trying to get cussed out by staff.
We love you.
Do we have
He
one?
doesn't know I'm back here because I realized
You ran off?
I ran off.
Do we have time for one more question?
In another 10 minutes.
Can I ask Congresswoman Lee one more question?
Okay.
I just want to say that, you know,
And we got to invite Latifah in, too.
this is a question for Latifah, too.
Okay.
Being that black women have always been the backbone of the Democratic Party, does this feel like you're finally getting your just due having the VP at the top of the ticket?
First of all, I grew up, born and raised in the Bay Area with Congresswoman Barbara Lee as our North Star politically. So, you know, for us, you know, she ran so we could walk. We had a politic of freedom and justice. You would turn on Channel 2, KTVU in the morning and see Barbara Lee I was a child watching this woman on the floor even before you gave that consequential vote. And so for me to be running this race, following in your footsteps, first of all, there's no shoe, there's no foot that could fill the shoe of Barbara Lee. I want to be very clear. Barbara Lee has literally a degree in diplomacy, not just degree from the academics, but doing the work for 50 years, advocating for women and children, being an internationalist, literally building as she climbs. There are so many of me's out there in the Bay Area. But when Barbara told me that she was going to run for the United States Senate, I said, ma'am, might I? And she, on my primary nights, passed me a literal baton.
Wow.
And we won that race, right, Miss Lee? You helped me get to the place where I could say my full-time job is going to be working for poor women and children, for disabled folks. I talked about Kamala last night, but let me tell you something. Being raised in the Bay Area, understand the Bay Area, understand Oakland, the black folks there, they came through the Great Migration, right? They are from the South. We country, and we knew we were trying to leave Jim Crow, and we found it in the Bay Area. We thank God for Rondellums, and we thank God for Barbara Lee. I'm going to do you right, Miss Lee. I love you so much.
Come on.
Look, Latifah has already done me right. First of all, because I never would have run for the Senate knowing that money in politics was going to be a challenge, and knowing all the dynamics, as you know.
Yes.
But I knew that worst case, there Latifah was to carry this baton. Ron
I'm here for you.
the baton. I passed Latifah the baton, and I'm forging ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
And let me just say, it's really important now for you to be there, Latifah.
Yes, ma'am.
Because Northern California, I'm the first and only black woman ever elected to Congress. We have a Northern California delegation of all white people. Nobody that looks like myself. Can you imagine?
That's right.
Having a seat at that table and having to push
every day.
every single day. And Latifah's the one to do that. I was the first and only woman north of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You know this, elected to the California Assembly and Senate.
Yes.
And when you look back, and I worked for Rondellums, one of the first chief of staffs, black woman on Capitol Hill. That's like a long time that I've had to push.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like Shirley Chisholm, hey, here's Latifah.
I love y'all. I'm so glad that we have Oakland representing tonight, the same night that Kamala Harris will be speaking.
That's right.
I'm gonna get Congresswoman Lee back to work. Latifah, we are definitely gonna have you back. Thank y'all so much.
you
We
so
love you.
much.
It continues.
Tell Sean
I'm not Barbara Lee, I haven't even seen you.
Barbara Lee speaks for me.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Barbara Lee speaks for me too. Love you, Latifah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.